Harman Smith seems to be coping and seething over the Steam Deck OLED, so let's go take a look.
Valve has announced a new Steam Deck. You know, because the old one was such a huge, roaring success, selling something like, what is it, like less than 2 million copies?
Steam Deck has sold multiple millions of units, Valve says.
Selling something like, what is it, like less than 2 million copies?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
You know, it's trailing behind the Wii U. It's one of the biggest gaming flops I've ever seen in my life, but oh no, this time it has an OLED screen.
The Steam Deck is a niche product, and the specific niche it's catering to are people who already game on PC, because those people already have a pre-existing Steam library. The Steam Deck isn't a console meant to cater to the casual audience. It's literally a handheld gaming PC. However, with that being said, I can't say I'm surprised you think the Steam Deck was a flop, since you think everything that isn't made by Nintendo was a flop.
Baldur's Gate 3 Metacritic score falls despite fanboy claims it was far superior to Zelda. The Baldur's Gate 3 delusion is done. The gaming industry failed to stop Tears of the Kingdom. CD Projekt's Red Cyberpunk 2077 expansion Phantom Liberty releases to absolute crickets. Armored Core 6 the flop from FromSlop.
Armored Core 6.
Out your fucking mouth!
If I were in your shoes, I would get tired of being wrong about so many things all the time. But what do I know? In your words, I'm just a steampunk.
The Steam Deck is irrelevant, it's not important, nobody really cares.
This isn't supposed to be here. This is garbage. Boo!
You say that, but it's clear as day you care, considering you made quite a few anti-Steam Deck videos.
Ignorant Valve Steam Deck fanboy attacks Nintendo Switch. The Steam Deck is an abject failure. The Valve Steam Deck has already failed long before release. Valve promotes Steam Deck by promoting Switch emulator Yuzu.
You're a fucking idiot. This needs to stop. Now.
The Steam Deck isn't even a direct competitor to the Switch, so I'm not understanding why he feels threatened by this device. It doesn't make sense to me, but when you're dealing with fanboys, logic tends to fly out the window, so I guess the joke's on me for expecting better from Harman Smith.
And yet, with the Steam Deck announcement, you know, seeing the Steam Deck OLED, which, let's be honest, much like the original Steam Deck was a copycat of the Switch, the Steam Deck OLED is a copycat of the Switch OLED.
You're wrong. Here's why.
The first OLED product was a display for a car stereo, commercialized by Pioneer in 1997.
The Steam Deck OLED is a copycat of the Switch OLED.
Jesus, can you hear yourself?
You know, it's slightly more expensive. They made some ergonomic improvements. The screen is an OLED. It even has a similar name, the OLED.
Honestly, I think calling it a copycat is underselling it by quite a bit. My first example why is the pricing system on both devices. And as we all know, Nintendo games rarely drop in price even years after they've been out. On the Steam Deck or my desktop, I don't have to buy games on the Steam storefront if I don't like the current price, and go to sites such as Green Man Gaming, CD Keys, Humble Bundle, etc. On the Switch, you're stuck to the Switch's pricing system, and if you don't like that, well, you're just out of luck. Now, I was going to give another example such as what games are available on each device, but I'm going to save that for another segment in this video, since my response to him right now is long enough and it's time to get back to his video.
You know, Gabe is desperately trying to keep his brand alive.
Huh?
He is getting stomped by the Switch.
Huh?
You know, all of the best indie games are selling better on Switch than they are in Steam Deck now.
He's full of shit.
Okay, so there is a ton to unpack here. First, Steam is not a dying platform. It's literally the biggest gaming platform between Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Also, you mentioned indie games being better on the Switch, but you didn't even go into detail why you think that's the case. But y'all don't take my word for it, I'll show you.
Right, on Steam now. Like, Steam is a dying platform, kept alive only by desperate YouTubers and indie developers who just wouldn't be able to compete on a platform with actual releases to compete with, that has actual releases.
That doesn't
make sense!
As far as indie games go, I don't get why you think they are better when a lot of indie games out here hit Steam first. If or when they have had success on Steam, they go to other platforms. Take Undertale for example. It came out in 2015 on the PC, and it didn't even hit the Switch worldwide until 2018. Another example is Bug Fables, and for those who don't know, it's a game that's similar to the older Paper Mario games, such as the 1,000-Year Door, the first one. But back on topic, this game came out in November of 2019 for the PC, and it hit the Switch on May of 2020. So if you really like indie games as much as you say you do, I just gave you a reason to get a Steam Deck over your precious Nintendo Switch.
Steam has never been able to put out a successful piece of hardware.
That's a little awkward.
When the Steam Deck came out, before it came out, I was explaining this to you. I was explaining how Valve was taking a massive loss with every Steam Deck sold. I explained to you that they were trying to take a huge chunk out of the Switch market and that it was never going to work. I explained to you that the Switch was still on top of its game and that like Valve has a long history of like faulty products and not being able to continually support hardware for any period of time longer than a couple of years. You know,
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing.
The only thing you said in that clip that was correct was that Steam had a history of making terrible hardware. And what else you said that was truthful is that it's being sold as a loss. Gabe outright said the price was painful, implying that it was being sold at a loss without outright saying it. Everything else you said was either dumb or just you sucking off Nintendo. Like I said earlier, the Steam Deck isn't trying to directly compete with the Switch. The rest of the world seems to understand this, but you can't or you refuse to get this. Which is why every time you make an anti-Steam Deck video, you get ratioed into oblivion.
And here we go.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Before we move on, I have one last funny clip from one of his anti-Steam Deck videos.
Valve fanboys are like foaming at the mouth, like legit thinking that what the fuck?
At this point, the Steam Deck has gone past the point of living in your head rent-free. It's built an entire damn empire in your head.
I explained to you all of the problems that the Steam Deck was going to have in the first couple of years, and every single one of them was true.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Steam Deck failed to be successful. There is no reason to own a Steam Deck when you could simply just own a Switch.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent coming from this area. This area is not good either. I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this.
I'm about to have a field day with this one. One of the reasons to own a Steam Deck over the Switch is certain games aren't on the Switch, and here's a few examples. Baldur's Gate 3, Lies of P, Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, Sekiro, Final Fantasy 14, and last but not least, Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a game you seem to have a hate boner for, and here I'll show y'all that as well.
Elden Ring fails to impress. Elden Ring destroyed by the Metacritic user scores.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I could keep listing games, but my point is if you want to play these games and you only have a Switch, you're just out of luck. Another reason to own a Steam Deck over a Switch is emulation. There are a ton of great games from the GameCube to the 3DS to Wii U era, and I'm just not gonna wait on Nintendo to port them to the Switch when I can play them now. Nor do I want to give them $60 for a game that's been around for a while, and all they did was just make an HD port of it.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
And one more reason to own a Steam Deck over the Switch is the fact that the Steam Deck is a more powerful device than the Switch. Plus, a good chunk of Nintendo games are capped at 30 FPS. Not to mention, the Steam Deck OLED is getting its refresh rate bumped up to 90 Hz. So in that regard, it surpasses the Switch. How much of your video do I have left?
fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.